In tonight's headlines, Environment Secretary Tse Chin-wan further clarifies the ban on plastic containers and cutlery, saying the public is adapting very quickly to the new scheme. Housing Secretary Winnie Ho defends higher operating costs for light public flats, saying it comes with other facilities not available in traditional public housing. And in another aid package to Ukraine, the U.S. gives $6 billion, which includes the Patriot air defense missile system. Housing Minister Winnie Ho has defended the slightly higher operating costs for light public flats compared with traditional public housing units. Ho said the new housing units offer a wide range of benefits other than basic cleaning and security services, and there are social welfare organizations providing services for residents. Laundry services, restaurants, and shops will be available within the light public housing facility, Ho added. Roughly 30,000 light public housing units will be ready by 2026-27. Speaking on a radio show, Ho said 29,000 units are already under construction, while preparations for another project consisting of 800 units in Ma-on-Shan are ongoing. Eligible citizens interested can submit their tenant applications starting in the middle of this year, and those who have been on the waiting list for more than 3 years will be notified with this information.
我諗社會上都接受啦，如果係老人家嘅。或者細路仔好細成長嘅，咁呢啲我哋希望俾多啲幫助佢哋，等佢哋可以盡快轉變個環境。
Households with children or elderly members will be given priority in the allocation process. The Land Registry has also finished reviewing income and asset declarations of current public housing tenants and found that 380 of them owned at least one other property. Notices for termination of lease have been sent to 270 tenants, while the other 110 owners have already returned back the property to the government. Clearing further doubts on fire safety regulations for subdivided units, Ho said the Fire Safety Ordinance has issued clear guidelines on that, but she agreed that there may be a need to regulate average living space for tenants of subdivided units to ensure residents and building safety. A task force is set up for tackling issues of subdivided units, Ho said. We will proceed with further action after detailed consideration, she added. Janice Yu, Cable News.
付出多啲嘅喎，咁佢就會諗咧點樣改變自己個行為啊，慢慢改習慣咧，佢就會做一個嘅分類啊、垃圾分類啊，咁減少嗰個垃圾嘅產生。
Our main purpose is to educate the public on how to reduce waste, not to inconvenience businesses, said Secretary for Environment and Ecology Tse Chin-wan. Taking to the airwaves to further clarify the government's ban on plastic packaging and cutlery, Tse said authorities have visited 1,700 retail and catering establishments in the past week, and most have already changed to non-plastic utensils. Restaurants also suggested that about 60 to 70% of customers who ordered takeaway opted out from taking disposable utensils. The feedback we have received so far has been positive, said Tse. In response to the recent controversy of a Japanese supermarket selling sushi in opaque paper boxes instead of the normal clear plastic packaging, Tse said it is unreasonable and unnecessary for supermarkets to use non-plastic packaging. It's okay to use plastic boxes for food packaged in advance, since businesses wouldn't know whether customers are dining in or getting a takeaway.
嗰啲佢控制到嗰啲，佢就應該要跟呢個做啦。
But containers must be of non-plastic material if the food is made to order. Responding to inquiries whether the production of designated plastic bags to be used for the municipal waste charging scheme has ceased, the environmental chief clarified that the government is putting production on hold as there is enough inventory to cover the whole city's usage for up to 2 months. The trial for the municipal waste charging scheme commenced at 13 locations around the city earlier this month. But there was confusion among residents and businesses as proper guidelines to waste disposal were not provided. We are currently taking reviews and suggestions and will examine our results from the one-month trial scheme, Tse said. Janice Yu, Cable News. Police Commissioner Raymond Siu attended the passing out parade for 27 probationary inspectors and 172 constables at the Hong Kong Police College in Wong Chuk Hang this morning. After the ceremony, Siu said the force had recruited nearly 11,000 people last year, an increase of roughly 46% than its previous year's target. There are currently 6,000 vacancies to be filled, and Siu is optimistic it can be done. Recruitment rates for police inspectors has also doubled as compared to last year, but Siu says the force still chooses quality over quantity.
投考人數對比我哋到最終係能夠正式加入警隊嘅呢，係大約每8個投考警員嘅人，我哋係請1個。而喺督察嗰方面呢，督察嗰方面係大約係每32個投考人，我哋先揀1個。
The constable position is given to every 1 out of 8 candidates, while the inspector position is assigned to every 1 out of 32 candidates, he said. The force is still actively recruiting new blood. Having traveled to Wuhan for recruitment earlier, Hong Kong police will be hiring new officers from Guangdong and Fujian next month.
CCTV 嘅作用就係防罪滅罪，亦都做到一個阻嚇性嘅作用。
The police chief defended the setting up of 15 security cameras across the city as a trial, saying they have helped officers detect 2 serious crimes. One was related to possessing imitation firearms, and the other one was a robbery case. Siu said the government plans to install 2,000 such cameras across city streets this year to enhance safety. Janice Yu, Cable News.
The United States has announced an additional $6 billion in military aid to Ukraine as part of a new package. This includes the Patriot air defense missile system, but U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said the objective was defense-specific and the missile launchers were not part of the deal.
This is the largest security assistance package that we've committed to date. It will include critical interceptors for Ukraine's Patriot and NASAMS air defense systems, more counter-drone systems and support equipment, significant amounts of artillery ammunition and air-to-ground munitions, and maintenance and sustainment support.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Patriots were urgently needed to face a growing Russian air threat and can and should save lives right now. One of Ukraine's biggest needs is to find a way to better defend itself as it comes under increasing attacks from Russia. The Patriots are the most capable and expensive air defense systems provided to Ukraine. Each Patriot battery costs around $1 billion and each missile nearly $4 million. Some of the latest funding would also go to building Ukraine's own defense industry so that it can start manufacturing more of the ammunition it desperately needs. Pro-Palestine protests, which have swept university campuses across the United States, made it to the other side of the Atlantic, with the Paris Institute of Political Studies becoming the latest to join the struggle. Considered one of the most prestigious schools to study political science in France, crowds of students took to the campus to voice their support, occupying a central building and displaying Palestinian flags.
A large part of it was the motivation from American Ivy League, but before that we still had movements. Every Tuesday, every week, we would occupy the Peniche, the main hall. But seeing, our brothers and sisters across the pond working well, fighting for Palestine, it was inspiring for us, and we decided to do better the same.
And although there were heavy police presence, the students seemed undeterred. Tensions rose as pro-Israel demonstrators converged at the same spot, leading to a tense standoff. Riot police were called to the scene, issuing warnings of possible arrests as they tried to keep both groups apart. The school strongly condemned the actions of the protesters. The war in Gaza remains a contentious issue in France, given the significant number of Muslim and Jewish population in the country. In the United States, protests continue to spread across at least 40 campuses and have led to more than 500 arrests. At Northwestern University, students set up tents on campus, demanding a ceasefire in Gaza, as well as divestment by their institutions from companies with ties to Israel. At Ohio State University, clashes broke out between police and protesters. The university spokesperson said 36 people, including 16 students, were arrested and charged with criminal trespassing. Entering their 10th day of protest at Columbia University of New York, demonstrators said they would continue their encampment until their demands are met. Minouche Shafiq, president of the university, faced harsh criticism over the use of police against demonstrators, leading to clashes, injuries, and arrests. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, earlier called on Shafiq to resign if protests were not brought under control. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.